Hello out there and good morning, traders. It is June 27th, 2024, and welcome to the Apteros DMI. Let's dive into our recap here. Taking a look at some of our scenarios from yesterday, scenario one is that we remained rotational inside of this context that we had been identifying on our shorter time frames. Scenarios two and three were really just about breaking out from that context, which we obviously did not need. One of the reasons why acceptance, this term that we use in our Nadra community, is so important is for situations like this, because what you end up seeing is moves like this that look like they're breakouts, but their rhythm from rotation high to rotation low doesn't push beyond our line in the sand area, right? It doesn't get outside of that. It doesn't really create more movement to the downside to say, okay, now we've officially changed our outlook, changed our what is picture to something new, and now we can shift along with that. So one of the things, one of the common sayings around the Nadra community is that we trade what is, right? We don't anticipate, we don't predict, we wait until something shifts, and then we trade that. So yesterday was all about scenario one because nothing shifted. Our rhythm never changed. Our rhythm never broke out of this area, and we continued to have mean reversion throughout the day, creating a ton of opportunities for us. This one here, kind of early in the session, kind of coming up, no real push to our destination, comes down, creates a new low. So another opportunity here, right to a destination to the downside, right to this destination, this area here, back up to the upside to this destination, and then back down again in the overnight session. So a lot of back and forth ping ponging whenever it comes to rotational areas. Me personally, I was watching this unfold, and it was really, really interesting because what happens in these rotational environments, and it's something to remember, is that we often have to create, little tests and stop runs beyond areas to grab new liquidity, right? So as the day evolves, we end up, creating these little stop runs and then turns, and those are, opportunities for us whenever the what is picture is still rotational. So I know that sometimes rotational contexts can be very difficult to trade because of this fact, right? Because of what happens in them. You essentially end up, seeing a strong move, it fizzles out, you get the push, and then that fizzles out, and you end up making a new low, and then that's the one that ends up going right to the target, right? That can become tricky for people who aren't experienced, maybe don't have a good intraday framework. It's something to remember because transitioning into today, we are still rotational, and this setup looks a lot like yesterday. But the main change, the main difference is that I just adjusted these levels a little bit with the movement of some of our dynamic references. But still the same scenario. Scenario one is that we're inside of rotational, um, you know, rotational context. Sorry. So the what is picture is that we kind of continue in there, relatively, considering the fact that we have some wicking of this area and some excess above that we want to hold. Now, if we transition out of this, right, if this move right here, let's just say, continues to the upside, you'd want to see it clear out some of these excess areas, some of these highs, and you'd want to see that rhythm kind of clean up and get outside and accept, and that you would switch into scenario two, which would be a break to the upside, looking for these first target areas here. If you end up seeing scenario three, which is a break to the downside, once again, you want to see a good move beyond, kind of into and out of these lows, and then a pullback and a possible continuation first to that neutral level. And then there actually is a level lower down here that is like kind of the ultimate destination for the downside if we end up seeing it. So an intermediate target, a kind of a stretch target there for the downside. Same kind of thing here for the upside. If we end up seeing that break, we have kind of that intermediate and then the overall target kind of out there. And then there is a possible even larger target if we really get a strong bullish day out in the 06s. So that is the full landscape of kind of what we've prepared and prepped in terms of scenarios and in terms of, alternate scenarios. Right now, the what is picture is still rotational. So we have to, like I said, see price kind of really clear out before we end up switching to scenario two or three. All right. Tread well out there, mind your risk, and let's have a wonderful trading day.